Welcome to the second video on Amazon Leadership Principles. If you have not seen the first one, on top right you will find the link.
Let us start the interview. How are you, Tim?
I am doing fine, Jolly.
Can you tell me about a time when you could not meet your project deadlines?
Would you mind if I take 1 minute to think about such a situation?
No problem. Take your time.
When I was working at my previous company, I was assigned a task to write test cases for a financial application. The work was to be delivered in a week, and I agreed to do it. I started writing test cases as per the scenarios documented by the client. While writing the test cases, I realized that at many places some boundary conditions were missing. So I added few more test cases on top of the scenarios mentioned by our client. In 3 days I was able to do only 40% of the work. I realized I could not deliver the work on time. Immediately I sent an email to my manager explaining the situation. I mentioned to him that it is good to add few more boundary cases above the ones mentioned in the document, which is why it is taking longer than expected. Also told him that I was updating the test scenarios document, which we can share back to the client in Germany. My manager was a little upset with the information but then told me, "It is good that you realized it 2 days before the deadline and informed me. If it was later we could have broken the trust from our clients." He called for a meeting with the client the next morning and asked me to explain the situation. To be true, I was worried that the client might get angry. But the client was not angry. In fact, they appreciated that I was adding more boundary cases. The client asked me how much more time do I need. This time I did my homework well, and had already gone through all the leftover scenarios. I estimated that I might need 4 more days, to which they agreed. Finally we delivered the work the next week.
That was a good judgment you made. Did you learn anything from this?
Yes, indeed. What I learned was, I should spend more time on first analyzing the task then communicating the timeline with the manager. Also, it is a good thing to think big and think about the long-term use of the test cases, such that the work can take care of any further builds and is reusable for new devices.
Great example, Tim. Let me ask you one more question. Tell me about a time when your teammate didn't agree with you. What did you do?
I remember one such situation. It was in 2018, during a feature release. I was developing a feature to generate automated reporting for all transactions made by our customer using the web application. In this work, I was using a library built by one of my colleagues for converting XML to other formats. The library code was not well written. In the Scrum meeting I proposed that we should refactor the library code, to which my colleague completely disagreed. I requested him, it would be helpful if he can explain a little bit on his opinion. To which he replied that the code looks fine in its present state and it's reasonably good. He added that we do not have enough resources right now to take care of this as well. I listened to him patiently. He also told that, since the feature release is next week, we should not do any refactoring. After he finished sharing his thoughts, I replied that we should delay the feature release by a week but refactor the code first. I argued, stating that it is better to go with a quality release, by making sure that the code will not break, rather than going with the present library which did not look great to me. I also mentioned that with our next release, we are expecting that our customers will grow by 10-folds, so quality and scalability are very vital. The meeting ended at that moment, but the discussion went on in email as my manager took my perception to the leadership team. In the meantime, over a coffee, I talked to my colleague who had written the library and explained to him why I object on it. We had a long friendly discussion and at the end he was quite convinced with my judgment. Later, we got an email that the leadership team agrees with my idea, and the release was delayed by a week. We then worked together in the team, fixed the file and had a great feature release.
That was again a good example, Tim. I am sure you are good in communicating and defending your opinions. We will see another leadership question in our next video. Thank you. Please do like and subscribe as it motivates to make more such videos.